The illusion of perfection, when being someone's dream turns into a burden. Not so long ago, the notion of being the person of someone's dreams might have felt like a crown, a sign that you're cherished and uniquely seen by a special someone. There's a thrill in knowing that someone adores you enough to imbue your very being with a touch of perfection. Yet, as the days pass and reality intently sets in, that same pedestal often becomes a weighty tray of unrealistic demands. Dreaming versus living, the duality of idealization. At the heart of the matter lies the chasm between fantasy and human reality. When someone envisions you as the embodiment of their dreams, they often layer you with attributes that border on perfection. Flawless communication skills, unwavering empathy, and an almost prophetic understanding of their emotions. In these imagined scenarios, every word you utter, every gesture you make, is meticulously catalogued as either a confirmation of their dreams or an outright betrayal of them. By falling into this trap, you're less a real person and more an archetype that exists only in the realm of lofty ideals. It isn't long before the initial warmth starts to cool, and the pressures of perfection transform the dream into a subtle, but persistent, burden. The cracks in the dream, disappointment in the real world. No human is immune to imperfection. Invariably, the qualities that make you real, your quirks, your moods, those moments when you're simply not okay, begin to surface. Instead of being celebrated for the depth and honesty of your humanity, these very actions might be seen as failures to live up to an ideal. The person who once held you in a pedestal might suddenly find themselves confronting a disconnect between the dream they cherished and the reality unfolding before them. This divergence can lead to an enormous sense of disillusionment. It forces both parties to confront uncomfortable questions. Was their love based on who you truly are, or on a beautiful but unsustainable illusion? And if you, as the real person, can't, or won't, conform to such rigid expectations, might you inadvertently become the enemy in an internal narrative of lost dreams? When adoration morphs into conflict. Perhaps the most painful twist is when admiration turns into adversity. In some relationships, the person who once adored you begins to feel betrayed, angst replacing affection as they see a vast disparity between their beloved dream and the unfiltered reality. What was once unadulterated affection can quickly slide into resentment. You might find yourself cast into roles that you never auditioned for, the ever-perfect partner, the unwavering confidant, or, in the worst-case scenario, an adversary who mocks the imperfections you naturally possess. This transformation is not so much a reflection of your worth, but rather a projection of their unmet needs, a reaction to the internal dissonance created by clashing realities. When we allow our dreams to dictate how we view others, it rarely paves the way for true connection. Rather, it sets the stage for inevitable conflict, where neither side can accept the vulnerability inherent in being human. The path to authentic connection. What's the antidote to this psychological double-bind? The answer might lie in a fundamental reevaluation of our relationships, emphasizing authenticity over idealization. Set clear, realistic boundaries. Explain early on what you are, and perhaps more importantly, what you're not. Open and honest dialogue helps prevent the buildup of unmet expectations. Celebrate imperfections, encourage each other to embrace flaws. After all, imperfections are the brushstrokes that make the portrait of a person unique and relatable. Cultivate mutual understanding. Sometimes, the idealization stems from deeper personal insecurities. Recognizing that what you're seeing in another is a projection of inner longing can soften the harsh edges of disappointment. Prioritize self-acceptance. Being genuine requires that both parties love themselves enough to accept their human frailties. Only then can you build a relationship founded on truth, rather than an illusion of perfection. A summary reflection. Being the person of someone's dreams isn't inherently a curse. It can be a powerful testament to one's allure and capacity to inspire. However, when that idealized version overshadows the beautiful mosaic of human imperfections, it may ultimately lead to conflict, disappointment, or a gap that seems impossible to bridge. True connection is fostered not by molding ourselves into roles, but by daring to be real, acknowledging that love thrives in spaces of honest vulnerability and mutual understanding. In the end, it's better to be loved for who you truly are, messy, unpredictable, and wonderfully imperfect, than to be trapped by a dream that obscures the very essence of your being. And in our collective pursuit of authenticity, Perhaps we can finally understand that perfect doesn't exist, but genuine does.